through the fields of...
Well, hello, preppers and prepperettes. Perrin Lovett here, back for the Prepper Post News, courtesy of Freedom Prepper. And we have Thursday, March 18th, 2021. A big hello and welcome to everybody listening to the podcast, and of course to everybody watching on YouTube, and from the Freedom Prepper Empire, the website, the community, and our various social media that I should not neglect. Welcome, everybody. Got some stories in the news and a fun telling feature story I'll get to. Oh, and the thing I keep forgetting, Andrew, I'm working on the North Korea mining situation. I pulled up some stuff, and we'll get to it. I understand there's some bad things happening down in the mines. But if that's, we'll figure it out. North Korea mining, very important. Let's see here. Let's just dive right into the news of the week. So America is a big, fun place. Some people say we have some problems, but that doesn't stop literally everyone else in the entire world from wanting to come here. And as long as they come in illegally, they're welcome. If you're coming from Europe, you need a vaccine and a test and all. But if you're illegal, if you're a terrorist, or just want to help tear down what's left of our nation, come on in. We'll even put you up at the Dallas Convention Center, because all of the fusion centers and I guess the hotels and the tent cities are overflowing. So the Biden administration, or whoever is propping up poor old Joe, is now going to house teens. I'm not sure if that's real teens or some kind of euphemism. Teen invaders at the Dallas Convention Center. 3,000 of them for now. I'm sure more will be coming along any day. My understanding is that depending on what age of teen they are, determines how many electronic Democrat votes they get. And I guess if a teen is over 40, they get the fake paper and electronic ballots. All perfectly above board. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about with the suggestion that known terrorists are also sneaking across the border with these teens. The terrorists are probably teens themselves. That's how they're always presented in Europe. These are teens. All of them, they look like men, but they're women and children fleeing war. And we've got to let them in. They need your volunteer help. I guess in Dallas is not the border, but they need you in Dallas so you can help hand out, I suppose, hugs and welfare checks, maybe AK-47s to all of the teen arrivals that are just flooding in. Now, while they're free to come and move around and do whatever they want to, we're not. For a year now, we have been under a lockdown, much like prisoners in a prison. And I found a great write-up about that. It's linked up with everything else at freedomprepper.com about all the lessons that we have learned, or that we should have learned, over this long, painful 2 weeks to flatten the curve, the longest curve of 2 weeks in human history. Maybe they misspoke. Maybe Bathhouse Fauci, still had something. Maybe he meant 2 years to flatten the economy and then flatten the nation behind it. Take a look at that. I would suggest no lessons have been learned. Certainly not by the people in charge. And if you have learned any lessons, for God's sake, keep your mouth shut. They don't want to hear from you. In fact, they will cancel you if you try to speak up. If you try to protest what you perceive as a stolen election, or a dead country, or a dying economy, messed up basketball season, whatever it is, you're a terrorist and they're going to hunt you down. They'll spare no expense. However, if you're Antifa, which is an ideology given to mostly peaceful protest, you can do whatever you want to. In most peaceful fashion, Antifa and some associated groups tried to burn down the federal courthouse. Probably more than one, but this is a story about the courthouse in where all the show trials take place in the USSA in Portland. That's in Oregon, if you'll believe it. They tried to set the place on fire. They attacked en masse. They were wearing body armor and helmets, gas masks. These guys, and weapons, they had guns, all kind of tactical equipment. They even bring leaf blowers now, electric battery-powered leaf blowers, to blow the tear gas away when they attack the police. That's fine. FBI is not going to investigate. Last year, during the summer of peaceful protest, some arrests were made, some cases were brought under Orange Man's administration. Those are all being dropped, nothing to worry about. We've got to concentrate on the real terrorist. That means you. Now, this is a story that I even forgot about, and I was the one saying, don't forget about this. Do you remember Nashville back on Christmas morning just last year? Not even a full 3 months ago, a truck bomb went off in a major American city, and right up front, we were treated to nothing. Now, just the craziest, some independent sleuths discovered some real weirdness behind it. Nothing made sense. It was a powerful, Oklahoma City style bombing. There was some speculation about what the target was, about the big brick building right there, and the things that were going on in that brick building. Well, now we know. The report is in, and the FBI says that there is nothing to see here. Forget about it. They'll probably write it out of the history books. It certainly was not terrorism. Terrorism is when a bunch of middle-aged white folks show up on the National Mall carrying American flags and talking about the Constitution. That is unacceptable terrorism. That will be met with violence and force. Antifa burning down a courthouse, that's fine. That's peaceful. A truck bombing in the downtown urban area on Christmas morning, that was some bad life experience that this patsy was going through in the cover story now that everything has been squared away. Take a look at that. A story from the Tennessean, which I haven't really looked at that much, except outside of or within the Nashville non-bombing, non-terrorism thing that didn't happen. Looks like a real hometown newspaper, dying breed, kind of like the Truth. Now, here comes some truth. This is a story that they did not want anybody talking about. It was obvious that it happened. Everybody knew it happened. Nothing was done about it. They didn't want you to talk about it until I think this is the one that they were bragging about after the fact. This is about massive, mostly electronic election fraud in the 2020 election. It's real. It happened. They have all the evidence, and arrests have been made now in this blatant rigging of the 2020 election of some homecoming queen court down in Florida. I guess this was really a plot to save the homecoming court from itself. They had to do it. Mom and daughter somehow did the impossible. The way they got caught, all the fake votes were coming from one IP address. Now, I've heard some other crazy conspiracy cases where they lay out a definitive, flow chart of all the fakery going out, not just to IPs, but to foreign countries and being routed all over to scatter and diffuse it. Even when that's caught in real time, that doesn't exist. This is real, and we're finally going to get real justice. So, Little Miss runner-up, the tiara and the carnations they're in the mail. Nothing happened in Nashville. You just can't. This stuff and they're bragging about that. We caught the election fraud. We put it at this high school. So many lives were affected. I mean, you can just Orange Queen was bad, so we had to get the fake girl in there. Just writes itself like a comedy. I had to stand up and do this stand-up show next time. Maybe with the North Korean miners, right, Andrew? I'm working on that. Italy, I've got a story out of Italy. They are serious. They are, a big dope dealer wants to give everybody the jab. Well, I got a couple of jabs for you, and I'll follow it up with a good old right cross, but they're jabbing back in Italy. They've opened a criminal probe into some sort of poison that's being marketed under, I don't know, some name. It's a manslaughter investigation. They've had some deaths, and they're doing something about it. Take a look at that. A story with all the usual lovely pictures from the Daily Mail. Now we've got another story about big dope dealer, big pharma wanting to shoot kids. Now this is not another story about teens running amok that would be covered up by the mainstream media. This is about big pharma wanting to give the old jab to your kids. Now there's no evidence. Matter of fact, all the evidence says that the kids are practically immune. And if you're putting masks on them and making them report via the easily hacked Zoom system, or if you're putting them in little plexiglass bubbles and tents, that's child abuse. But nonetheless, they see a market there. People that, young people that we don't ever want to reproduce, got to nip them in the bud, and so they want to poison the kids. I remember something in the Bible about a suggestion about what would be better for these monsters, but I'll just leave that to your imagination. It's mainstream media from the Microsoft media. Take a look at that story. Now, speaking of getting shots, nobody got shot. We're just getting jabbed. It's confusing. It makes no sense. But after the fact, it'll be like Nashville. They will deny it happened. That's stage 10 of a genocide denial. What people? There were no people here. We didn't kill anybody. Here's a quote. Biden looks to shots in arms and money in pockets to reignite faith in government. I'm sold. I mean, you want to give me, some fake money that I'll have to pay back later. We did the numbers last week. 400 billion for the people and $1.5 trillion for the usual suspects, all of which you'll have to pay back. $13,000 per taxpayer for $1,400 and a shot of poison. A chicken in every pot smoking chickens, and it's just I'm sold. I have faith once more in Washington. That came from the LA Times, which for what it is one of my favorite larger newspapers. I've also got a must read. This is just a great, Paul Craig Roberts is a great guy, been around a long time, very smart, interesting. And when he does these retrospective life stories, they're always worth reading. I've got one here where he takes a sober, somber look at the past 82 years as he's experienced them in America, and America with a K. And he honestly, he's given up on even trying to recognize his nation, because it's not the same place it was in 1940 or 1960 or 1990 or even 2019. It's totally changed. Everything has changed. And everybody, it's funny. I had this conversation with somebody on the forum about how everybody knows what's going on. We all know it, but for some reason we just all keep putting up with it. Here comes the feature. Oh wait, I almost forgot. I got to get where's my hat? My begging. The airplane is on the cup, or I'd use that. Please like the video. Thumbs up the video. Feel free to comment. Comment here or over at Freedom Prepper Community, where all the best comments are rolling in. Don't forget to join. Promote that around. If you've got other social media and you haven't been locked out or banned yet, throw a link to the community. Also, remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. You get more than just me babbling away about the comedy show. We have useful short videos about all kinds of subjects. Some of those this week have been extraordinarily popular. Brevity. I don't have it, but like us, join, promote to your friends and family, people you trust who want to prep and prepare and live the freedom lifestyle. We certainly appreciate anything you can do for us. Buy some coffee. Help us out. All right, here's the order. I forever fell into the politics and the economics trap. It's libertarian with free markets. We've got to have the Constitution and freedom. Politics. That's tertiary. The order is the identity of the nation matters more than the culture, which comes out of the identity of the nation. And the culture is much more important than the politics. And when they start falling, they fall like dominoes. One always takes down the other. See what's going on in England. or pick a country. I picked England because Vox Day wrote up some witty comments about a story, a horror story that just keeps on keeping on in Great Britain stand with the fake German monarchy and all. There was a woman, an attractive 32-year-old woman. She was walking at night and was kidnapped, raped, and murdered. And they caught the guy just the other day. They caught the guy. He's I think a 48-year-old policeman, a homegrown terrorist in a uniform of the Met, and he's going to go on trial. And why did this happen? Well, bad things like that happen in any big city. You know, you can ban murder and kidnapping and rape, but criminals are still going to do it. The suspicion is that because of the cultural changes, because of the identity changes, since, Enoch Powell was predicting what's going to happen, since his predictions started coming true, they've started coming true, and you have things like teens running amok in London, Manchester, everywhere else in England, committing crimes and just getting away with them. In fact, getting it covered up to the point that if you report one of the crimes, you'll be charged with a crime. So maybe this is a case of the homegrown thugs wanting to get in on the action. Hey, if everybody's getting away with it, I'll try it. Didn't work for him, thank goodness. In a sane country, he would be hanged. But of course, England is no longer a sane country. We'll always have England until we don't. The real insanity comes with the backlash and the popular suggestion. This is Me Too meets 1984 on steroids. In the story I linked to, please take a look at it. Suggestions are being made about how to stop this. Now, Vox wisely notes that maybe you should, revert back to the demographics you had 50 years ago, kick out all of the teens, and arm the women. Women want to walk alone? Fine, give them a little cute pink revolver to keep them company. Can't do that in England. Can't even carry a knife. Pepper spray. In fact, shouting or a whistle is probably illegal now. So defenseless people get attacked. The wolves always go for the weak member of the slow calf gets the treatment. But the rest of the herd is piping up on social media with suggestions, and all of this is aimed at regular British men about how they, this is the time when the military is attacking everybody for suggesting that female soldiers are not equal to male soldiers, which of course they are not. That's why they have special rules, special PT standards, special biological standards that you can't even ask about. The woman says, tells her sergeant something, and that's that. He can't, if he questions, he's out, or in the brig. They're just as equal as us, except when they're walking alone on the street. Then, guys, if you see a woman, you need to turn around and walk away. She'll feel uncomfortable. She's just as strong as you, but you're making it uncomfortable for her. So cross to the other side of the street. Men, if you're with a woman, escort her to the door. She could bench press you 10 times over while fighting off the Taliban, but, at the door, she's vulnerable. Common sense things. They're even suggesting a 6 o'clock p.m. curfew for men. And they're lamenting that even under their charade of, common law and justice, that's probably not acceptable yet. Maybe if they say native British men, white British men, especially Christians, that would probably be acceptable. When your culture and your people go utterly insane, this is what you get. This is what drives the politics. And we need to find some British preppers. Got them all over the world in other countries, and your country probably looks a lot like this, unless your country is China, Russia, Iran, or somewhere in the old Warsaw bloc of nations. But anyway, that's what we have here in the West, what's left of it. And we'll be back with more reasons to stay alert, stay aware, and keep prepping. Ladies, do carry that little pink revolver. It might come in handy sometimes. I'll see you back tomorrow for Fun Friday. And again, I promise to look into this North Korean mining situation. I'll do that as soon as I get the next script together. See y'all tomorrow, and keep the coffee hot.